everybody. It is Tuesday again. It is the 28th of June. Damn it. I tried to not look at it and I still had to look at it, but it is the 28th of June. We're just going to throw it right out there right now. We don't have a fuel surcharge report. The EIA said that they will have the last 2 weeks, so this week and last week, posted tomorrow at their normal time, which is about 5 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm sure Swift and we'll probably beat Swift with it out. But because, they'll put it out the next day. But it should make it in time for this week's settlement, I believe. But so we don't have that. So we got Jeff here, though. Look, there's Jeff. What's up, buddy?
Hey, man.
And we got Rosie down there or up there right now. She's ready to take your calls. If you guys want to call in, please do so. Let me throw that little graphic up. And I told you it's a different button, Jeff. What's wrong with you? Why don't you know this? God, just call right here, 813-548-3722. The phones are open right now. Rosie can take your calls. She is standing by. Look at her, just eager to take your call right now. Call in. 813 Live FCC. Yeah. And we do have a kind of a special show. I think it's a special show. We're going to have Sue Smith in here shortly. We got her hanging out in the side green room thingy. She's probably like, why can't I talk right now? And because Jeff said you're not allowed to, because he's a mean man. Everybody knows how mean Jeff is. It's purely desperate. Because, if it was up to me, you'd be in here, Sue. I'm just saying. But yeah, so call in. The phones are open. Rosie's ready to take your call. Like I said, no fuel surcharge part. Craig Hutchinson, what's up, buddy? Ken Kelly. Hey, folks. And we got Sean Holloway sitting there on the side. Oh, I should have threw Sue in right there just because she looked away. I'm just playing, Sue. Hang out.
How about now?
Now? No. But so here's what we're gonna do. Actually, she's got a new contractor that's coming into the system. We're waiting on him to call in, and then we're gonna have a little. We're gonna let Sue go through how she processes and handles her new contractors, and let her go through her process, and we're gonna, and this is in the hopes of expanding not just the new guys, but all of us. I mean, if you have to find yourself in the need of a new OOC, driver leader, whatever it is you want to call them, okay, then maybe there's something that can be taken away from this for all of us, right? And I really think this is going to be beneficial for, really in particular, the new guys, because if you come in and set expectations and you understand their expectations and that sort of thing, then I think starting on that foot. Does that make sense, Jeff? I feel like I'm going off on a weird direction here, but I think
You're
if
rambling.
you start
You're
on the right
rambling.
foot, okay. But if you start on the right foot, it'll set everything up for you for more success later on.
Yeah, so Charlie actually put this together at last minute.
That's how we do.
Talking to Sue, because that's the way we do things. So we're going to be taking it pretty much by year. Why is that showing? I don't know what's going on.
What's up? Trucker Dan.
Trucker Dan.
Trucker Dan. Hey, Trucker Dan. Hey. I'm sorry. I can't even control myself. There's something wrong.
Nope.
I can't be trusted alone. That's why you guys are here. You know what? Let's bring Sue in just to say hi at least. Come on. I feel bad leaving her sit out there. Look, there she is.
What? Leaving me out in the wind?
That's how we do it. Oh, you don't even know. Like, people are all excited. They're like, oh my God, Sue's going to be here. It was totally me. But yeah, Sue's going to be here. How'd you get Sue on? I'm like,
Ida.
Oh, we got Ida.
Oh, we got Ida up there.
Conning
Oh
on me.
We even got Ida in the chat. Look at that. Love me some
hey,
Ida.
lady.
Love me some Ida in a purely platonic, non.
Yeah.
Just shut up.
Just stop.
Oh God, I don't even know what to do right now. Just a weird. Hey, so Sue, your dude, your buddy, your guy, Ronnie, that was his name.
Ronnie.
I was getting there. It took me a while. I'm like, I know that it's there. I just read it. I just put it in the group. I just put him in the group. I should know this. But if you could get him to get that call in or something like that,
Yeah, absolutely.
and Rosie will snatch him up, and we'll get into that, and then because we're gonna actually we if we can get him to call in, we would like to do that part of that first because we're gonna have follow up after that is what I'm thinking.
Yep.
That's how we'll work it. So, but yeah, so like this whole thing totally last minute. Like I dropped this on Sue and she's like, "You were wrong, man. You were wrong." And it just had to happen.
More than wrong.
Babe, you got to call her.
I'm not.
Oh,
So I'm gonna throw her out and let her answer that. Hopefully that's the man, and we'll get him queued up. And once she verifies who it is, we'll pull it up. Yo, line is busy. Can't be busy. There's 4 lines open right now. Try again, James. It should work, buddy. 813-548-3722. Just be patient because we're going to have Ronnie on the phone for a little bit, James. He's going to be our guest on the show so we can work through this stuff that we want to work through. So be patient. While you're on hold, though, you can hear the show, so don't let that throw you off, man. Don't be afraid to pop in there. You'll be able to hear the show.
yep.
Rosie's screening the call now. And yes, operators are standing by. Trucker Todd's in the house, y'all. Trucker Todd. What's up, buddy? I've been on fire all day like this. I don't even know how to act. Like, I just feel good. So I finally, for those of you who care, not that there's one of you out there, but for those of you who care, I finally adjusted to the meds. I feel better. I don't hurt. And it doesn't put me to sleep. Yes.
Yep.
And that was great because I could watch TV, eyes closed. Didn't know they were closed. I could hear the whole TV show. I could engage in a conversation, eyes closed. That would be sketchy behind the wheel. Just saying. That would be a weird thing.
Yes.
So, yeah. Let me pull Rosie back. Oh, yep, we got Ronnie on the phone. All right, Sue, you ready for your side?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's pull this up. Hey, Ronnie, you there, buddy?
Yes, I am.
All
How's
right.
everybody going and doing?
We're doing good, buddy. You got this is Charlie. Jeff Morton is my partner up there not that you can see him, but he's up in the top corner in the room with us, and we got Sue on the line. So all three of us and our millions of viewers, don't let that bother you. Okay, we got like 20 right now. That's cool. But we got a small group and we dig it. But thanks for doing this, man. And I think that I think you're awesome for doing this one because you're just coming in blind, brother, and I appreciate it. And we'll try not to
No problem.
chew on your head too hard. And yeah, so I'm gonna let Sue do her thing and just kind of let Sue explain what she's gonna do here. And I'm gonna shut up.
Oh.
Okay.
Is that for a change?
That's for real. That's hard.
Oh. Hey, Ronnie, thank you again for doing this and jumping in with the group here. Like I was saying earlier, this is more about educational for everybody involved and for you yourself. So we're going to go ahead and continue on with kind of the peremptory discussion that we had earlier. And this is something that I try to do with all of our owners that come in is understanding their expectations, where they want to go with their business and move forward from there. So I know that I asked this question earlier, and this is Jeffrey's favorite question. Why do you want to be an owner?
Because I want to be able to make more money, start my own business, and hopefully build a good company that that I can pass on to my daughter and let her continue it and just have a successful business, be able to make money and live comfortably.
All right, outstanding. So earlier we were talking about you had 3 years of experience and you started off with Swift. So you want to tell us why you left Swift?
I left Swift at the time because at the time it just I wasn't making enough money. When you first start, you're not going to make top dollar. So I had a lot of things going on, so that's why I left, because I just wanted more money. And, I didn't have the experience that Swift was requiring for me to make more money here. So
Right.
I had to leave. Yes.
Okay. So, and what is your preference of area of running?
I prefer the Southeast. I love the Southeast. I love the Georgia, the Florida, the North Carolina areas, Texas. Yeah, I like the Southeast, but I'll go just about anywhere except for the West Coast, like we talked about.
Right, exactly. So everyone knows that we have him in the Eastern region. So Ronnie is going to play over here and take full advantage of that additional mileage pay as well. So he's wanting to push forward on that. Now we had talked that you want to stay out there for a couple months and you only want to go home every once in a while. So we got that down. Now, what is your expected revenue for your business?
My expected revenue, I mean, as a beginner, like I said earlier, between 100 and 150,000 my first year is where I'm looking to, would like to make. I know there's a possibility to make more. So I kind of like to set my standards low. That way, if I make more, that's a plus. So it gives me that room, or to do whatever I need to do.
And that's gross revenue. Sorry, chime in.
Nope, that's good.
No, for me, that would be more like a net revenue. It's what I like to, net per share, which would be good.
Okay. And so where are you getting that revenue for on the net? How did you come up with those calculations?
Well, because what I calculated up was, because when me and Ramona talked, he said between $1.25 to $1.59. So I took the number plus the surcharge, which would, I just took the high number on that one too, and I just did, I did 1.59 plus the 0.76 and added together, which gave me it gave me 2.29. I calculated that by 3,500 miles. 3,500 miles would give me around $8,015 per week, minus the $952, which would cover most of my expenses, and then taxes from that. So yeah, so that's how I came up with that number, and I times that by 4, which gave me 32,000. I times the 32,000 by 12, and yeah.
So, I mean, that's a good avenue of approach on that. Now, question, when you were budgeting that, did you take in consideration of repairs?
No, I didn't subtract that. So, I mean, that's why, the way I calculated it up, I mean, either way, if I can, I mean, I'd still have plenty of money to take care of the repairs, and still be comfortable, and be able to put some money up and put money to the side and still take care of everything. I believe it's very manageable. If you got the right people helping you and guiding you along the way.
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta have the right people knowing what. You gotta have the right people that knows what they're doing to make sure that you succeed and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Right. And that's part of this conversation is having the right expectations. And that's what we were talking about earlier in the day is making sure that you are setting goals and also making sure that they're measurable. So with you having the expectation of 100 and 150 for your first year as net revenue, that brings up a concern because you're not calculating the maintenance costs. You're not calculating miscellaneous costs out on the road on just needing regular supplies like chains, let alone what about fuel costs? That's going to be your next.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be your highest expense day over day in how you're going to perform on your truck, your miles per gallon. So that does bring up a concern. And the other aspect of it is, what year is your truck?
It's a 2019 Volvo VNL 760.
All right. So on that, with being a 2019, now with Ramona, did she say or give you a suggestion on how much you should use for maintenance escrow? Put aside for that. Did she tell you what you should calculate?
She told me I can put anywhere between 3 cents to up to 20 cents. That would cover for my maintenance and stuff. I chose to go with 5 cents for now, and and later I could, put more into it, But
Okay.
right now, I went ahead and did the 5 cents. Yeah. So.
All right. So with
So
that being
hopefully
said, one of the things I'm going to suggest to you, it's always easier to take away before you even receive it. Once you are steady in your income, you're expecting a certain amount, it's a lot harder to take money away from yourself. You feel like you're cheating, you're losing.
Right.
So my concern, and as I am not a recruiter, is 5 cents. Your maintenance escrow should be utilized for 3 things. And this goes back to your goals. What is your end game with this truck? Are you planning on buying this truck out at the end of the game? Are you going to return it and get a new lease? What's your goal on that?
And that I don't know just yet because we got a 1.5 year lease. And, depending on what trucks are going for in a 1.5 year, it could go down or it could stay the same. If the price of the trucks goes down, then I would probably return the truck and get another truck because of the, let's say for that same truck with the same miles, in a 1.5 year, it's going for 60,000.
Okay.
And the payoff is 82,000.
Okay.
So
what did
I
it
would
say in the
wanna pay
contract?
more. It said at the end I would end up paying 82,000. Would
82,000
be
at the
the balloon
conclusion.
payment at the end.
Okay, so if it's 82,000, you already know what that end payment is. So what is your goal with that? You know that number. You have a 1.5 years.
Right.
You can't wait till the last minute to set a goal. You're in business now. You need to focus on this as a business
Okay.
strategy. You need your 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, and your 10-year goal. If you, like you had talked about before, you want to create a fleet and you want to create a fleet for your daughter. If you're not
Yeah.
setting the goals now,
Yeah.
how are you going to make that happen?
Right. I mean, but when I first started, my goal was to pay off the truck at the end, and try to put someone else in that truck and refinance and get another truck with Swift and continue.
Okay. So now when we started earlier, let's make these measurable. So we're going to go back to what we were talking about earlier on making your goals measurable. So when we discussed it is we want to make sure that your first year, you're going to make 100 to 150K. I don't think that's a realistic net revenue. I think that's more of a realistic gross revenue. And if you remember the conversation that you had with ATBS.
Yeah, I remember I had with ATBS, yeah.
Okay, so in that P&L that they provided you, it actually does follow through where your annual revenue would have been 166.4.
Okay.
So, and then if you do the whole breakdown on the back end of that revenue, your projected net business income would have been 95, which isn't bad. But my question to you is then when you had the discussion with them, did you tell them exactly all of your expenses? And that includes food, miscellaneous stuff that you buy beyond your bills. Did you give them that number? Were you that exact?
No, I wasn't really that exact. Because they just asked me what my expenses were, and I just told them, I usually spend between my groceries and my one little bill I have. I spend about $400 a month, and that's all my bills. That's with my food and my cell phone bill and all that stuff.
All right, so that's a good estimate. But when it comes down,
no,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was saying that's what I had told the lady, and then she had calculated that that I would, you know, gross about. She said about $1,800 a week, minus taxes, which would be about $350. She based it off 2,500 miles. She said I would still clear home around 15 is what she told me. But I know I can run more miles than that. So, and that was just a ballpark number. That was just you know, just to break it down to me.
Right. And this is like I was saying earlier, this is the preliminary P&L for you, and this is something that you need to look into and dig in more onto it, because to say realistically your monthly expenses is $400, that's not true, because your personal expenses includes clothing. You're going to go buy boots. Winter's coming. You're going to buy warmer clothes. You're going to go get miscellaneous stuff for the truck. You know, you need to calculate all those things when you are thinking about accounting aspects. How much is your true personal expenses and how it's going to impact your business? And then that goes in the same aspect, that
Right.
especially if you want to be a fleet owner, you need to track every single expense that you have. If you're not, one, you're missing out on deductibles for your taxes. Two, you need to understand where your money is going to.
Okay.
If you do not track where your money is going, you don't know if there's a problem where you need to address certain issues and prepare for. And that leads back to the maintenance escrow. So, as most recruiters will say or suggest, 3 to 5 cents. I disagree with that. And there's 3 reasons for
Right.
that. One, your first aspect of it, with you having a 19, truly and honestly, your maintenance costs probably will be, this is a guess, around 9 cents a mile, your overall average. And if you're tracking your numbers, you will actually be able to figure that out. But if you're not putting that much aside, then how are you covering your expenses? Your second reason,
Okay.
for putting money into this account is when you do take time, and you take time for your daughter. And I know that you said earlier that you were only planning on taking a couple of days. So what if that couple of days
Right.
actually ends up being a week or more? How are you making your obligation to your truck payment?
Right.
Are you gonna turn around, pull out your debit card, and call Cash App and make sure your truck payments are taken care of? You got to think of this.
That's what I have to do.
It is an obligation that we all go into when we come into these contracts, especially when it comes to a lease. It is still a bill. So that is the second reason of maintaining your escrow. So you can call up and say, hey, Sue, just go ahead and take care of the financials for me on Thursday. I'm still out. Make sure I'm positive. We're good to go. The third reason, and the main reason why I was asking you what you were going to do with this truck, is if you do plan on buying this truck out, you can save additional money on there. You can max out by doing the 20 cents, save money in that escrow for the truck payment, take care of your home time, and also make sure your maintenance is taken care of. I typically suggest to most new owners 10 cents. It's not a huge, but it's not the minimum either. You're making sure that you're being protected along this journey, because you have to protect yourself. And as you get further along, I want you to start looking at other resources, because the maintenance escrow is not interest bearing. But this is a plan for you getting started, get going. And once you start and feeling comfortable in your business, then I want you to explore in other financial means. Look into high interest savings, where you can divert it. And one of the things that I play with myself financially is, very simply, I look at my bank account. I know how much money I can spend. I know how I have in my emergency fund where I can easily pull it. But if you look at other accounts where it's harder for you to get at, you don't look at it every day. So I have my payroll where it diverts off to a separate account that I don't even look at. That money is growing. It's causing interest, creating interest, and then that is another savings account, so you're making money off of the money that you're saving. But for now, let's work on possibly looking at increasing that maintenance escrow to protect you as we're going along. And then down the road, we can look into different aspects. You can start exploring different companies and things like that. Okay. Now, with the 1-year goal, of that, of what would you say a realistic number now would be for your net for 1 year?
For my net, what I would, we'd have to say around maybe, we say 80, around 85 to 90 would
85 to
be
90.
more of a realistic.
Okay.
Yes, yes. After seeing everything and listening to you, yeah, more realistically would be about 85 to 90,000.
Okay. And you had said earlier too you want to save, but I need a measurable number. Give me by the end of 1 year, this time next year, how much do you want to save?
How much do I want to save them to my savings account?
Correct.
At least I have to say about 50,000 would be a good number. Now, got to take
Okay.
baby steps. Be
So
cautious.
50K.
So I'm trying. Yeah, I'm trying to be very cautious on this whole thing because I'm new at this, so I don't really know a lot. So I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to see what realistic numbers are, what I can really make, what I can pay, what I can put up, everything.
So net. So by you saving 50K and you want to make that happen in 1 year.
Yeah.
So when you set up your direct deposit, did you already defer a percentage of your paycheck, excuse me, your settlement over to that, a separate account for that?
I right now I have a checking and a savings, so
Okay.
I'm probably have to go back and probably try to put a certain percentage because right now when I did the direct deposit last time I put 100% to my checking, so I really need to change that
Okay.
and put probably put about 70% in my check-ins and the other 30% into my savings.
It's going to be more than that. Because if you times 50K
Yeah.
out by 52 weeks a year, and that's if you're working 52 weeks
Yes.
completely, that's $961 per week that you have to defer over to that.
Okay.
Are you in? I know you said your expenses are only $400 a month, but once again, you're not considering your food expenses and everything else on the road.
Right.
So let's make an adjustment on that. So how much do you think that you can? Let's break it down by week. How much do you think that you can put aside comfortably every week?
Every week, I would have to say comfortably every week I could know if I'm bringing, let's say I'm bringing home 1,500, just ballpark it, 1,500. I can afford to put away a week at least 1,200.
So you can live off of no problems, 300 a week.
Yes. I should. I can with my food expenses, not the other stuff, but just my food and everything. I don't really spend that much. I don't even spend 200 a week.
All right, so we want to include breakdown time. You're going to break down. We're going to want to include
Right.
time with the family when you actually do get up and go visit with your daughter. So if we're going to break this down, I would suggest taking another 25% off of that, because it equals out to 62,000 a year. So
Okay.
if you can realistically live on that, I don't know.
Yeah, because I don't have that many expensive habits. I don't go out to eat. I usually go to Walmart. I get like lunch meat, bread, cheese, mayonnaise, waters, Gatorade. Just little stuff to hold me for the week. And I don't really go out, and I don't go into restaurants every time I turn around like most people do.
Well, okay, my question is, what about your resets? So I know what I used to do on resets. Well, granted, this was back in the day of needing to rent a CD or something like
Sorry, I'm
that.
sorry.
Yeah, no download of Netflix and everything else that was available back then. Okay, so what do you do on that time? What do you spend your money on that time?
Uh,
Do you have a bad habit of buying coffee at the
I,
Pilot every morning? That was my bad habit every morning, maybe 3 or 4
no,
times.
I keep my own coffee. I keep my own coffee in my truck with my cream, my sugar, and I microwave. I just take and put some water in a styrofoam cup, throw it in the microwave, warm it up, mix it up. I don't go into. I'm not going to pay $2.25 every single morning for a cup of coffee. And when I have coffee in my truck, I can mix right there, and it's so much cheaper.
No, I agree. Okay, so I'm not comfortable putting this number, but ultimately this is your business and this is your business goals. With taking 25% off, you're looking at 46,800.
Okay.
Okay. So, and the reason why I say that is that there are so many things that can occur, so many things that are going to happen. I want you to strive your goals, hit your goals. But I am kind of concerned that is a bit high. But like I said, it's your ultimate decision on this, and this is how you should measure it for your business. Like I said, goals need to be measurable. You set defined goals, set a timeline based on those goals, and then how are you going to measure your growth? So you can measure it monthly, you can measure it quarterly. Depends on how disciplined you are. And if you are that disciplined on your money, then maybe look at it quarterly. But starting out with establishing these measurable goals, maybe you need to start looking at it monthly to evaluate it, make sure you're hitting it. And I want you to give me a progress report on how you're hitting your goals and where we need to do adjustments.
Okay.
So every month you need to make sure that you dedicate $3,900 into that savings account. And that savings account is not to be touched otherwise.
Right. So,
okay.
I said 30%. So we need to go more of 45% into my savings and 55% into my checkings.
I think that let's see.
I think it's flip flop the other way.
Yeah, pretty much.
Flip flop the other way. So
Yeah.
55% into my savings and 45% into my checkings.
Right. Let's give that a shot and see if we need to adjust. We can always change. And I will get you a direct deposit form sent to you. So I will make sure that it's emailed out to you so we can make those adjustments. Usually the first settlement anyways goes to your COM debit card as well. So you're aware of. So we got the 1 year goal. What's your 3rd year goal?
Okay. My 3rd year goal?
Mm-hmm.
3rd year goal, I mean, I would really love to be able to definitely pay off this truck, have another driver into this truck and, lease another truck. And, 3rd year goal, I mean, we should be able to be at least around at least about 250,000, if not more. I think 250,000 is a good number to have put up to start my business. Yeah.
to be able to pay off your truck and lease a second vehicle.
Right. Right.
And you want that 250 net?
We're gonna go
Oh, sorry,
gross.
I'm a little behind on
Yeah.
that, Chris. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna go gross on 250 just to be on the safe side. Yeah. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because you know, this is new for me to try to establish everything and doing it correctly and making sure I'm disciplined in myself and taking the right amount of money out of my team and splitting it up between two and make sure my overhead is taken care of and everything else. So I'm just trying to be on the safe side. So I'm trying to go with a low number.
All right, so we're already off on your numbers. So there's 156 weeks in 3 years. 250K is not feasible with your goal setting of putting $3,900 a week. I'm sorry, per month.
$3,900
Yeah, per month.
a month.
You weren't going to fall short of that. Oh, wait, did I do my math wrong? Charlie, did I do my math wrong?
Maybe.
Yeah, I sure did, didn't I? I sure did. Look at that.
Well, it's because he flipped it to you on gross and not net. The
Yeah.
250 gross is going to translate to Jeff. Help me here.
You're asking Jeffrey?
Yeah,
Uh-oh, watch out.
It's fun to make him do math.
I was doing other math. Sorry. What were we doing here?
250 gross. What are we expecting net?
Times that by.
That's not the kind of math I generally do, but okay.
You're welcome.
Expenses. Let's see. 5.
And so he's on a 3-year lease. So the balloon starts 3 years from now.
Right. That's what I was calculating.
No,
No, it's a year and a half.
I'm actually.
Oh, okay. That
Year and a
changes my brain.
Yeah, a year and a half lease.
So you got to come up with the 82K in 18 months. Gotcha. Okay.
Right.
Sorry, we're just chiming in from time to time. I apologize, buddy. We're gonna get through this, and I think this is actually just so people know, or so you know, Ronnie, we have actually got a whole chat stream going on the side of this that you can go back and watch and see what we're talking about. And there's some comments that are like, "Oh my God, he's crazy," and then other people like, "Oh wait," and as we're learning, it's helping us to understand your goals and versus things that they thought, things like that. So I don't want you to take any, when you do watch this, don't take it negative. It's just us working through the process and Sue going through her process so that people get a better understanding of what's going on. And I'm going to shut the hell up again.
Right, because I'm trying to, I want to do this, but I want to be successful at it. So
absolutely,
I'm new, so and that's why we're all here to make sure that I am making the right decisions and I'm not making the wrong choices and I'm doing everything the way it's supposed to be done to make sure I do succeed.
Keep working it, brother. You're in good hands. I promise.
So he's got to come up with 82,000 in 18 months.
18 months. But there is the option, though, with that being said, that depending on how much he can save in that interim,
right,
to where what that remaining balance he can seek outside financing. And then his goal
50 grand by 12 months from now, he's pretty, that would be well on the way to achieving that goal.
Pretty close, and it'd be easier to finance at a lower rate.
Right.
Yes.
If you need to. And then we can accomplish the 3-year of hitting that, pay off the truck, and the second vehicle. So you're going to need money down for the second vehicle. And
when does he want to put the second vehicle? When does he want to put the second vehicle in service? At 3 years or at 18 months?
Yeah, like I'm my third. Well, if I can get this truck paid off in 18 months, then I would definitely get this one paid off. Try to and get hire a driver to get in this truck, and as I get a driver in this truck, immediately go ahead and get me a second truck. So if I can do that within 18, 19 months, that would be good. So as soon as I pay this truck off, I would love to get someone into this truck immediately so I can put myself in another truck.
So this is not a 3-year goal. This is an 18-month goal.
Yeah. But
Can I throw my 2 cents in here, Ronnie?
Go for it.
So with
yeah.
you starting out as a new contractor, your goal of paying off the truck in 18 months is absolutely, I'm digging it. I love it. If you can follow this plan and meet these numbers, you'll be in a perfect position to, at the very least, like she said, even if you have to finance at a lower rate on the outside with 50 grand down, man, you can knock that out and then pay it off in another 12 months. However, I worry about a person coming into the ownership side at 18 months and starting a fleet at 18 months with so little experience managing your truck, and now you have to manage a second truck and driver. It's a tough learning curve as someone who had a small fleet. I can tell you it's a difficult thing. I was about 2.5 or 3 years myself when I actually started the fleet, when I brought on my second truck. It was a guy that I had trained. He was in a truck that we knew, things like that, and so we went on from there. But it was probably, gosh, maybe even 3 or 4, and I stumbled and struggled every single day trying to figure out how to manage it. And I had a strong team behind me, a solid relationship with a driver leader that, at the time they were called driver leaders, that actually helped me manage that truck and those guys. I had a team in it and that sort of thing. And so you might want to adjust. I mean, look, by all means, learn what you can learn. But I think 18 months as a fleet owner is going to be a difficult thing at the least.
I mean, we don't. I don't have to do it that quick. It's just, I mean, I could wait 3.5, or even 4 years. I could, just stay in this truck and, not even worry about another truck until I, get everything figured out pretty well. And once I've done that, then I can go ahead and put myself in another truck and then hire someone to get into this truck. And and I don't have to do it right away. I can wait 4 years.
The only person that can dictate that is you, though. And that's where the goal setting aspect of it. I do agree with them on that. On 18 months, that's rushing. It is rushing because there are so many complications with being a fleet leader. You got to find, or a fleet owner is, you got to find the right people for the truck. Got to make sure that you can pay them at a satisfactory rate. If you can retain that person, that's a huge challenge day in and day out, is how you're going to retain that person. And then now, okay, here's one thing that most people fail to think about when they want to be a fleet owner is you're having your driver work under the umbrella of Swift. How can you compete with their rate of pay? And also, are you going to find health insurance? How are you going to find health insurance that's competitive to the market that's provided to you? You're fighting on 2 fronts. You need to make sure your employee's happy, but you also need to make sure that you're competitive with your immediate competitor. That would be Swift, unfortunately, in that same sentence. So how are you going to make that happen? How can you satisfy both those needs and deal with the struggle of you driving at the same time in your truck, trying to manage them? Alan, I know you're out there, can say something about that. Okay, it's not easy dealing with it, especially if you don't have a close relationship with that person. I was talking to the gentleman earlier. I may have retained on my own fleet 1 person out of 20 because I couldn't make them happy, or I didn't feel comfortable with the relationship that I had with them.
But then you have a truck now.
I actually have a friend of 16 years, a real close friend that I trust very well. He's the reason I came out here and got my CDLs, and and he would be the one that I already talked to him, and he told me when I was ready, he would definitely come and drive for me.
Do you want to comment on that one, or
Yes,
should I chime in on
I
that one?
I have a great comment for this. And
Go
a
for it.
perfect.
Go for it.
So I ended up in a lease on a truck that was a 2016, 2017. I don't know which one it was. T680, brand new truck. I owned the truck then that I currently drive now, my 1.7 million mile
Right.
truck. He was dead set on coming out. I was going to mentor him, teach him how to do all the stuff on the road and all that stuff. He was, man, and I'm gonna work for you as soon as we're done with training. And back then, it was a very easy transition to go from student to teammate to a second contractor in our system, and he was going to take over the truck and work for me for a while. And what happened was he didn't make it a week and was done with trucking, has never been in a truck since, and I still had a brand new T680 and I had no driver for it.
Yeah.
So I parked the truck that I owned, and he and I
Okay.
are no longer
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah. My buddy is currently still driving. He's driving a truck for another company. He's been driving almost 5 years now, and he's still driving. So I mean, he's already a driver. So yeah, I mean, I could go that way, or I could go another way and just find someone else that I'm not close to.
But
Because I
here's
know
the
being close to and having a friendship with that person makes, sometimes it makes decisions a little different.
Right.
it's not a maybe, it does. It's
Yes.
very hard. It's that's one of my things. Never do business with friends or family. Never. Because somebody's gonna get
Right.
hurt, or you're gonna lose that friendship or that family member. You don't want to break those ties. They are offended at first because you had declined that offer to build that with them. But however, it's not worth the long headache and the problems that are going to be associated with it.
Right.
The second aspect that I was going to comment on is you had said until you find someone else. So how are you going to pay that truck payment? How are you going to? It doesn't stop.
Well, exactly. And like I said, I don't have to, get a second truck right away. I mean, I could stay. I could just continue to truck off and continue what I'm doing until I get the experience and get the better understanding of the business. And once I get the
Ronnie, did we lose you? Oh, I think we lost Ronnie.
We lost him as soon as you
Busy. What happened?
left. Yeah. Hang on.
hello.
Let me try a couple. There he is. He's back.
Sorry, one sec. My bad. There you go.
Charlie, you can't go away
Okay.
apparently.
Sorry, so we lost
Okay.
you there on what you were saying.
Oh, okay. And so what I was saying is, I don't have to get another truck immediately. I can, it can take 3-4 years until I get the experience that I need and get a better understanding of the business part of being an owner operator before I decide to get another truck. So I don't have to do it right away. I definitely want to get my experience before I take that next step.
All right. And I hope that joining this group will help you with that because you have a lot of knowledgeable people that will support you, including fleet owners in this group. So take full of advantage of that information that's out there. But I'm going to pull you back. So you said instead of making that 18 months, I need a timeline. When are you going to complete that? Give me a set time frame that
Yeah.
you are going to set for yourself.
I'm aiming for I'm definitely aiming for 18 months. That's what I'm aiming for. And I got money management skills. I can definitely discipline myself. I got no problem disciplining myself. My goal is to have it paid off in 18 months. That is my goal.
Okay. Well, they have we can still strive for that, but the second vehicle.
Okay. The second vehicle, that would have to be lighter. And so,
Do we want to
you
keep
know,
that as a
I need
3-year mark?
before yeah, 3-year mark. Yeah.
I mean, these are always adjustable. And the purpose of this is to
Right.
get you focused on where you're going to take your business. It's about having a plan of action. If you don't have a plan of action for your business, then you're going to sit there and fight every day. What am I doing? Because being an owner is not easy. You are
Right.
dealing with the same old as you would deal as any other driver out there, dealing with customers' problems, service issues, your truck is breaking down. You're going to constantly deal with those headaches. You've dealt with those the last 3 years, and then there's going to be plenty of times where you're going to sit there and go, why am I still doing this? And you need to be able to look
Right.
back of, this is why I'm doing this. I need to achieve this. If I stop now, I'm not going to hit this. So you need to focus on your goals. And then when you get to those points, because you will, doesn't matter what business you go into, you're going to get to those moments in life going, I'm tired. I'm tired. Why am I fighting? You see, you're able to go back and see what you have achieved to this point. So as you are focusing on saving, focusing on being able to have the money down to pay off the truck, I need to do that math on that. 3 years, we'll work on a second vehicle lease. And I'm going to ask you for one more. I want your 5-year mark.
My 5-year mark. My 5-year mark is just to be able to have 2 trucks, be able to manage my money, be able to 2 years. I mean, 5 years. Definitely. Hitting the 300, 350 mark. Having saved in my account. I'm trying not to go too high because I don't want to overwhelm myself. So I'm trying to stay low with my numbers. So that's why, I'm not saying like 400,000, no, like that. But I figure about, 5 years, 2 trucks, me and another driver, managing it really good. Have about 350 saved up. Make sure that all my overhead is covered, fuel, everything. Yeah, that is my 5-year goal. Yeah, that's it.
I like it.
Good job.
I didn't do the math, but I like it.
And which I'll work all this down, and I'll wrap this part up with Ronnie on it. But do you see the whole focus of this? And if anybody out there has ever done a business loan or a business plan, this is part of what you have to do. And then you got to turn around and do the math, and you got to show the numbers and anything that you submit to a bank or an investor. If you're not providing accurate numbers and they sit there and do the math for you and feel, that's not going to happen. And this is important. And you have to have a target. If you don't have a target, like I was saying earlier, then you're like every other truck driver out there. This is a business. Make it a business. Strive for something.
Cold, hard goals. Adjust daily. Look at them. Think about them every day. Work towards them. Are you achieving, or what are you doing to get towards those goals every single day? And oh, maybe I need to adjust this a little bit. Let's edge up on this number this week. Let's edge down on this number this week. 3,000 miles a week, man. I'm telling you, you're gonna be hurting to get it right now. Even on the eastern regional stuff.
And once you get into the group, we're going to be hitting you with things like fuel mileage.
Right.
I can make more money
right
to my bottom line at 3,000 miles than you can at 3,500 miles. I guarantee it. So you need to learn your truck. Where does it like to run?
Right.
What's your rear end gear ratio? Because that'll have a lot to do with how fast it likes to run. I just got done doing a 30-day test at 65 freaking miles. And okay, so I normally drive 60 everywhere I go. I've been doing that for 14 years. And the reason is fuel mileage. And I average between 1,800 miles a week and 3,000 miles a week, depending on how hard I feel like I want to work that week. Now, I have to put this in there. I own my truck. I have no payment, no nothing. So for me, 1,800 miles is my break even. And when I say break even, that means my mortgage is paid. That's everything that I need to pay for is paid for at 1,800 miles. So everything above that, I get to go either blow at the Warhammer store. I'm a geek.
Yes.
I do Warhammer stuff, or take my wife out for a nice meal, or put in the retirement funds, whatever it is I choose to do with it. But I have to do 1,800 miles a week when I turn that key on to make my bills. I know that. So right now, that's really easy still. I mean, I basically make money if I turn the key on because there's 1,800 miles worth of freight out there no matter where I go. The closer you get to that 3,000, 3,500 mark, guys are not getting that right now unless you're a team. And even those guys, we have a member of the group that she's her and her man team, and they're like, "What's going on? I'm barely making 5,000 miles this week."
And these are 7,000 mile a week teams.
And these are people that work their butts off. So it's just
too much.
You got to be prepared for that reality too. So what I have always told people, even when I was mentoring company drivers, come up with the percentage, just like Sue had you do. This percentage of my net income is going into a savings account. The only time that gets touched, like I've had breakdowns where, what was it, Charlie? I was 3 weeks broken down in Georgia last year.
Yep.
But I had money, so it didn't kill my business.
That actually touches on exactly what Todd said. Twice last year he broke down for 3 weeks at a time. And these days when you break down, shops don't instantly put you in the shop. They oftentimes, as you said, they wait several days just before you get looked at, and then he followed up with, then after that they it can be days because of the delay in the parts. And if you're driving a V&L, you're actually looking at an additional delay above and beyond a lot of what these Freightliner KW guys are doing. So sorry about that, Jeff.
Yeah, the Volvos are great trucks, but they've always had this issue with their supply chain. They just always have.
Right.
They
yeah, a lot of people don't want to work on them because they're not the easiest truck to work on. I mean, I've took them into plenty of Swift terminals, and the guys are like, "Oh my goodness, why?" Yeah. So nobody wants to work on them because they're difficult. So
is this an FX lease, an MRP, or a standard lease that he's completing?
Say that again.
Which lease program are you in, Ronnie? Is it the MRP, the FX, or a standard lease just on a short end lease?
I didn't really see which one it was. I think it's the MSR.
The MRP.
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, it can't be the MRP if he was told to put 3 cents in, because that's a mandatory 5 cents.
So
yeah, it's mandatory 5 and 7 cents.
I put in 5, but like Sue said, we need to go up a little more. So I'm definitely going to go probably 10 for the time being, and if we got to go up higher, then we'll go up higher, maybe even 15.
So, was this a company truck you were driving before you signed the lease?
He's coming back to Swift.
I'm coming back to Swift. I just left another company. I left Crete to come back over here, so I wasn't, over here.
I believe this is a traditional lease that was basically transferred out. It's still a traditional lease with the 82K balloon. Okay. So that's why it's an 18-month lease. Now I'm tracking. We're good. All right.
Okay. So while y'all were talking and I sounded confused, it's because I was doing math for something else. So when you first started the conversation, you were up in the air whether you're going to pay this truck off. And I wanted to address that real quick, because I just looked at what V&L 760 is going for in the open market right now, 2019. Depending on the region of the country you're in, that truck will cost you between $129,000 and $190,000 to buy. That's what they're going for. Obviously, the $190,000, that's in California. That's the most expensive place to buy a truck. That just go there. But so you're below that
Right.
with this
Okay.
between the payments of $46,020 over the course of the 18 months and the $18,000 balloon, you're at $128.20. So you're below market
Okay.
already. That's one thing.
Yeah.
Now let's say you, in my opinion, lost your mind and decided I want a brand new truck at the end of this. Well, that second truck, if you turn this one in and get a traditional lease on another Volvo, that is going to cost you $204,000 to buy that truck at the end. So notice the difference there. So you can either pay $128,000 for this truck in 18 months, or you can have $310,000 wrapped into this at the end of 5 years. So that's something to consider there.
Pay off
mileage.
Paying off the balloon is going to get more realistic. It's going to be better for me.
Yeah, you want to. I made the mistake. This is one of the biggest mistake I made in my business. I had a 2007 T2000, great truck. It had one thing go wrong with it. The EGR cooler went out, and the guys at the Peterbilt shop in St. Louis went to the mat for me because I was 10,000 miles under warranty, and they got that sucker warranted anyway. So I love those guys, even though they're not in business anymore for some stupid reason. But anyway, so one thing went wrong with that truck. You know what I did? I went out and I leased a brand new 2012 Cascadia because I was on a Cub Scout outing with my kid, and one of their engineers was one of the other dads, and he convinced me that 2012 Cascadia was the best thing since sliced bread.
Right.
And Charlie knows that one. I had to negotiate my way out of that truck.
Right.
Because it was so bad.
It was.
It was that. Yeah, trucks are like computers. Don't buy the first year; they have something new on them. And that was the first year with that,
right.
with the SCR system, the DEF, and it was just a dog. The last full year I owned it cost me $30,000 in maintenance.
Exactly.
My profit that year, I paid tax. Well, I didn't pay tax that year because I only made $12,000 that year. So I negotiated my way out of that truck. I got into my truck I'm in now, and I finally, after a lot of heartache and beating my head up against the wall and Charlie telling me I'm an idiot, I finally own my truck. And that is the best thing you can do, is own a truck. And I don't care what the mileage is. My mileage is at 800,000 miles. It's going to cost me about $30,000 to rebuild that engine, but that's about 2 years away. So you look at the cost of an engine at about 35,000 versus a new truck at 200,000. Again, the numbers don't lie. By the time you get done, by the time you get to the point where that truck is just a dog and you're getting 5 miles to the gallon because your engine's shot, you spend $35,000 and you have a brand new truck, right?
Right.
So that's the way to do it. Look at these numbers for yourself and get the piece of paper out and do the numbers, because that's what'll convince you. You'll have people to give you their opinions on, but the warranty, this, that, and the other thing. But when you do the actual numbers, what you'll find is it's cheaper to keep an old truck running.
Cheaper to keep her, yo. Oh, my bad.
As long as you're saving the money for it. We had Bruce Mellison on last week, who's a personal hero of mine. Yeah. And he recommends on the new trucks, 2015 and newer, I think is what he was saying. 7 cents when they're brand new, pump it up to 10 cents when they get older, is what he recommends. I still think that's a little low.
Yeah, I agree.
That's him talking about a dude that never once, not even a penny, comes out of their maintenance account unless it's for maintenance.
Right.
I could see doing it if you're that guy, but I'm not that guy. I tell you, when I would go home for a week and I would fall behind on payments, it was my maintenance account that I used to make the payment. I didn't call in and use my debit card. You can do that, but I used my maintenance account for that. So having it, I always had it at 12 cents a mile. I've had it that way for over a decade. 12 cents a mile. That's what I set it at, and I just not had issues as long as that's all I use it for payments and maintenance. Don't go to Vegas and cash out your maintenance account. Swift will let you do that because they don't care, but don't do that.
This guy, been there,
Right.
done that.
Yeah, that,
You
and
know,
the same thing with your
I'm
with
just
your
trying to
savings
make sure
account.
that
Yeah,
go ahead.
same thing with your savings account, man. Even as a company driver, I used to tell guys 10% minimum into a savings account. Why? Because we have really bad times of the year where there's no freight, and the bank that holds my
Right.
mortgage does not care. They do not care. They want their
Right.
payment on the first of every
Right.
month. So
Bills don't care. Bills don't stop just because freight is closed down.
Yep. Craig Hutchison does 20 cents a mile on his 2022.
And
Very
I do 20
nice.
cents a mile
Oh,
and
yeah?
have done since my first day of leasing.
Yeah.
Whenever the hell that was, back in 2010 or 11.
So the other thing too that we can go over in the group when you have some real solid numbers on this truck. Again, the fuel mileage thing. We'll figure out what your actual fuel mileage is going to be on that truck, and that'll determine how fast you want to run, which will determine how many miles you can squeeze in a week. And it's kind of
Right.
counterintuitive. Everybody thinks I want to do 3,500 miles. Well, if that 3,500 miles versus doing 2,800 miles costs you an extra $1,000 a week in fuel,
Yep.
that doesn't do much for you because you're just spending it on fuel.
And keep in mind, last week
Right.
I ran. Let me look, just so I'm not making up a story here. I apologize. I don't have this open. 3,142 miles. But my wife and I both drive together. We drive a kind of half-ass team. We don't really team. We ran 4 loads to get those miles. We only worked 4. Oh wait, I think we actually worked 5 days. That was weird. Anyhow, but we did 3,142 in miles. My fuel cost me upfront out of pocket before discounts and all the other stuff was, I believe it was, God, now I feel like I'm gonna lie. I think it was 2,800. It might have been 3,800 because fuel prices are high, and that was me getting fuel on a discount card. So a lot of guys don't understand how high the fuel cost is, and don't get that. And folks are actually starting to understand why I drive 55 most places that I drive now. They're like, man, this dude, now we get it. This some no good. But so I mean that fuel cost is just insanity right now.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
you should be making money off of that fuel surcharge if you're
Absolutely.
managing your truck.
Absolutely. But if you're driving
not at
72 miles
65.
right.
No.
And if you're driving around at 72 and you're like, oh, I got me a cool Swift camera so I could drive 72 everywhere I go because I'm going to make more miles. I promise you, you're going to lose your ass, for lack of a better way of saying it. This is blunt, real talk. You will lose your ass running around at 72 miles an hour with the fuel costs being what they are in the region you're going to be in and things like that. I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm going to put it to you. If you driving 72, just quit. Just stop it. It's going to lose you too much damn money.
Yeah, and the fuel surcharge, which we haven't been able to actually figure out the last 2 weeks because the government website is down that gives us that data. Right now, most of the people that are doing everything that Charlie tells us to do, using the discount fuel card, slowing down, all that stuff, are making a couple $100 a month on fuel purchases. So in other words, they might pay, after the discount card does its thing, $1,800 for fuel that week, but the fuel surcharge pays out $2,000.
Right.
So we're actually not concerned about fuel price because of that surcharge if you're doing everything
right
to your advantage. But you got to figure out how to do it to your advantage.
Right.
You can't. Well, the biggest, a lot of my students ended up becoming owner operators and not doing so well because what they did was this: they drove that truck just like they drove their company truck. They sat around
Right.
and waited for
That's
planners to plan
true.
them. They didn't know who any planners. They didn't know any Sues. They didn't know anybody. And they just sat around and said, why aren't I making money? Well, because you're not proactive. So
Absolutely. You've got to be.
Right.
Got to get it. And being a business person is that bottom line. Either you're going to stay with that company mentality and you're just going to float along, or you're going to understand that this is a business. You're going to get it. And being a business person, you got to be proactive. You cannot be reactive. Yeah, there are things that are going to come across where you're going to have to react to and deal with. But if you're that person that wants everything done for you, you can't be an owner. You can't go into business, bottom line, because it's not going to happen. You have to work 10 times harder than everybody else around you to make it happen. No one is going to protect you and your business more than you, bottom line.
I spend more time shopping for fuel than
Yeah.
most company guys do on their pre-trips.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy
So,
part. There's
so
real right there.
and you know it's pre-planning. You know, making pre-planning, lining up your loads correctly. You know, making sure that you keep loads so you can run, and just make sure you're managing everything. You're finding the cheapest fuel, like you said. Just no, you don't have to run 70 miles an hour. I mean, you know, I mean, as long as if you got a good window to deliver the load, there's no reason to run 72 miles an hour. There's no reason to run 70. If you got plenty of time to deliver this load, you can run 60, 62 and make it there and save yourself on fuel. Because, like you said, fuel is what purchase. You know, if you're running 70, 72 miles an hour, you know, that fuel's getting ate up. So you're not gonna make no money. You're gonna go negative.
I got to throw out my obligatory. Hey guys, if seriously, if you guys are finding some value to this and you think that what we're doing is good, do us a favor, smack the little thumbs up button at the bottom. I got to get this in, and I move forward to the mic, and I got to quit doing that because I changed my mic setting. So I apologize if I got really loud there. Hit the subscribe button, Ronnie. I'm counting on you to later to come back to this video. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe, and ring the little bell so you know when we're going live with stuff
ding,
like this.
ding.
You can learn stuff. Ding ding ding. Sorry, I had to get that
Okay.
out of my system.
So the other math thing too is on your financing of that balloon payment, because 18 months is a really short amount of time. So in my experience with financing is what they're going to ask is no less than 15% down.
I
So
mean,
if you,
even if you know we have to expand it from you know 18 months to you know 25 25 months. You know, I mean, if we gotta you know, I mean, because like Ramona says, I'm not obligated to buy it at the end, but I do want to buy the truck. So I mean, if we can expand a little bit more, you know, to help myself out, you know, I mean, we can do that too, right?
Yes, so there are programs that constantly change. So this is Swift used to have a buyout program for individuals, and I'll be quite honest, we were losing money. So that's part of the reason that program is stopped. You know, we're here to support you guys, but you know, Swift is also here to make money. Bottom line, honestly, with how
Right.
you're going about this and where you want to strive for, yeah, you got some lofty goals, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we need to measure, adjust, and go from there. But you will have some sort of option at the end to release this vehicle or go from there. Your payoff will be December of 2023, and it's at 82,136. So that's a lot of money to put aside. And there's
Right.
going to be problems that you're not going to be aware of as you're learning this industry. But if you can pay majority of this off, honestly, I would pay off your vehicle. Get paid off. If you don't
Right.
have the full amount at the
Yeah.
end, I would advise you to find outside banking and pay it through them
Yeah.
and make your payments through that outside bank. Because
yeah, I
one,
was,
you
Right.
are getting it out. Go ahead.
yeah, I was one of the last people to get that buyout deal. And I understand Swift was losing money on the deal, but the interest rate on that thing was not near as good as I could have gotten on the outside. I was
Right.
paying 15% on that, and at the time, going rates for Class 8 trucks was closer to 10 to 11%, depending on your credit score. But being where I was at the time, with the family situation and everything like that, they also want usually a minimum of 15% down for one of these things. So in your case, you're looking at having to put down no less than 12.5 to get outside financing. So the way I look at financing is I look at the market and say, okay, in 18 months, I have to have at least this. So as you're looking at your goals and you're adjusting when you see the reality out on the road, you cannot be under that goal. You should be closer to half down to get a good interest rate. But that's the bottom.
Right.
If push comes to shove and you just have to eat it to get that truck paid for, 15%.
Yeah,
That's what you have to have.
and that's what I was trying to do. I mean, at the end of the day, when it comes time to pay this truck off, I'm definitely going to do everything I can to pay the truck off. I mean, even if I, I got to do what I got to do, but I'm like my wife would definitely, help me if I needed it. So I don't think I'm going to have any problem paying it off at the end. Because my wife already told me to do what I got to do, and if I need extra money to help pay it off at the end, she would give it to me. So I'm okay with paying it off at the end.
Okay. Always think of contingencies, though.
Yeah.
What if?
Yeah.
Because it's never
And
what
that's
if everything. It's never what if everything goes perfect. It's always what if everything just goes to crap. How do I
That's my
stay in
plan.
business?
right.
Yeah, and
Because
that's, you need to have an emergency fund beyond the maintenance escrow. Because it's going to happen. Something's going to happen.
Exactly. And even if it gets to the point where I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not ready for the business side yet. Maybe I'll just do this on the personal side, just for me. I could change that too and say I can do it on the business side later. When I'm more capable, when I own the truck. So like, I could be at the point where I'm like, okay, instead of doing it on the business side, I can do it on my personal side. Just do it for me, pay off the truck. Once I pay off the truck, then I can look at it from a business standpoint then, because the goal is to pay off the truck first.
I
the
got to clarify.
nice thing is that once you have the truck paid off, you can kind of stack on that success.
Right.
If your goal is to have a small fleet, you got that one paid for truck, and that'll pay for a lot of nonsense.
What did you
for
want to
lack of a
clarify,
better
Sue?
term.
Sue said she wanted to clarify
I
something.
definitely.
Yeah, so
Go
jump in
ahead,
real quick
Sue.
here. So you were saying personal side versus business. I need you to understand that this is a business aspect. You have personal expenses, and I understand maybe you're using that as the language as sole proprietorship on how you're working this. But bottom line, you need to understand this is not a personal versus business. This is a business. You have signed the paperwork. I got the email of everything saying that you signed the paperwork. You're in business as of today. There's no personal or business. You got to have that mind frame going forward.
Yep.
Yeah, and I do. I'm just, I do. Everything we talked about is the way I'm doing it. I'm just saying. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it from a business standpoint. I mean, my goal is to, start a small fleet and do it the way I need to do it, and that's what we're all here for, and that's what I'm striving for. So so yeah, just one step at a time. Just I gotta make sure I'm making all the right steps. I'm doing the 10%. I'm putting the half and half in between the savings and the check-ins. Making sure I'm cautious with how many miles per hour that I'm running, pre-planning, making sure I'm planning to keep fuel and, just start making, cover my overhead. Yeah, just and communication with my driver leader, communication with the planners, making sure I'm planning everything correctly, make sure I'm picking the loads on time, I'm delivering the loads on time. So I pretty much got it planned out and everything. So just making sure that we're all on the same page and do this together.
So Ronnie, what are your expectations for Sue? I haven't heard that. What are you looking for out of Sue? This has been very one-sided, and I love the way Sue does this. But you have yet to interject what your expectations are here.
She's just my driver later. She can ask for loads, but I can't expect her to do everything. It's all about communication. And I'm going to get some numbers to some of the planners so I can communicate with them. Have a good working relationship with Sue and some of the planners so I can pre-plan, get myself the loads that I need, and just have communication. Just and that's the way it has to be. I'm only gonna go as far as I allow myself. I can't sit here and expect for Sue to get me all my loads because I'm not a company driver no more. I can't sit here and expect for her to do everything for me. I have to take the initiative and try to do it myself.
I think I dig it.
Proactive, not reactive.
Right.
I like it.
Don Carr threw up a thing, and he said, "Check and recheck the little things." And I'm gonna expound on that a little bit. You like that? Expound? I'm not sure I'd use it right.
I don't know. Do you even know what that means?
But I would say further than that is, you said the words, business and personal things, right? You will find us telling people all the time that if you take care of the business will take care of everything else. And once you understand that and you stick to that, and it's tough. You seem to actually be in a more unique situation than most guys coming out here, and they've got 4 kids and a wife and a house payment and 3 car payments and a dog and a cat, 3 lizards, a yellow belly tree frog,
and a goldfish.
And the damn goldfish that they have to replace every week and still call it Skippy because Johnny can't take reality that goldfish die. Anyhow, so but if you take care of that thing, that business, this business is absolutely going to take care of you. I know of a guy who came out here who was homeless, started as a company driver, and within 3 years paid cash $300,000 or something like that for a house. And I mean legit homeless. Well, okay, I think he was living in his car, so he had some shelter, but that was it, and no options, nothing, living purely off of what people were able to give him. You're in a unique situation. You actually have very low monthly expenses and weekly expenses, and so you're in a great spot for that. So at the beginning, everybody's like, holy hell, how does he expect to live off of $300 and $400 a week? And as we grew and this story developed with us, we now understand, okay, you don't have these expenses that some of these other guys have. So you're in a unique position.
Right.
And I'm going to encourage you to absolutely be active in this group, be a part of the group that you're now a part of, and maximize on that, because we can and we will help you succeed. And hopefully we're going to learn stuff from you, because every one of us needs to learn every day. And we're all just out here trying to do it. And that's why we when Sue brought the idea of bringing you in this, I got all giddy. I'm like, Jeff, we got something to work on here. And this isn't actually the way we were going to run the show today. We actually had a completely different idea. And we were going to do like a whole mock scenario, and we were going to beat Sue up. I mean, that's just what we were going to do. Jeff was going to play bad guy.
And the next time you came into the office, you'd get payback.
And, and I was going to be the good guy because, look at his face. How could I be bad? Right. I'm just saying. Anyhow, stop it, Jeff. Look, stop, Jeff. I've had enough of that. He was winding up. I'm just playing, brother. I'm just playing. Look.
Well, I was just going to say that legit. this conversation has gone so well that this is the example of how to treat your OOC. Our OOCs, some have more knowledge than others. But I tell you what, if you come at someone with, damn it, I need loads,
Right.
you're not going to get anything from anybody that way.
And
If
sir,
you
you are on the right
explain,
track, Ronnie.
if you do like Ronnie did, explain, this is what I want to do. Sue can help you with that. Sue's got no time for,
Right.
damn it, I need loads.
Right. No one does, and that's
Nobody
quite
does.
real, you know. So,
I'm
so
happy, and that's why, you know, all these guys that are owner operators out here, instead of saying, hey, driver leader, I need a load, how about driver leader, can you give me some numbers to some planners that I can call and talk to myself to try to get me some loads? You know, and that's the way it has to be. You have to take the initiative. You know,
Okay,
because
Ron.
we're not company drivers. We're not company drivers no more. I mean, you're
So-
an owner operator. So
I'm just going to throw in there real quick, and then you can give it back to you, sir. I will tell you, I'm not going to give you phone numbers. The only numbers I'm going to give you is the OOFs. I'm going to give you that contact number because of the mere fact. Do you guys
Okay.
remember we never knew what the planner's phone number and their
Right.
information was? The only time that we got it was if they
and
called
it
us and said,
it
"Help,
changes daily.
please help me."
Right.
Yeah.
And then we wrote it
So
down.
right. So the information is in your hands every day. Every pre-plan that you have that information. If I provide that to you, how are you growing your business? I'm handing you the tools. The tools are there in front of you. You need to evaluate everything. Look at your pre-plans.
The name.
Exactly. So you have
Right,
the
the name and
macro
phone
13
number
information
of
right there.
planner
Yep.
is
You
right
have
on
that.
the load of origin.
Correct.
Yeah, you look at the load of origin when you receive a load, and it has the name of the planner
There you go.
and the phone number of the planner. All you
But
gotta do
one
is
thing,
write the number down and call it.
Don't go to Oregon. Don't go to Oregon. Avoid Oregon. Oregon is the devil.
So
oh, I didn't hear
probably
that. No, not at all.
the biggest thing that I use my OOC for is this. I'll get some load that looks good on paper, but it's going to some place that I'm not familiar with. And I will message her because Dana sometimes doesn't answer the phone, but she almost always answers my text messages. I'll say, Dana, if I go here, can I get out?
Right.
Because that's the information I do not have.
Right.
I do not have rates and lanes. That's not something Swift has divulged to us thus far. But she's been around the company for like 200 years. I think that she probably babysat Jerry
212.
when Jerry was a little tyke. So she has access to this stuff where she could just like sometimes she just calls planners that nobody knows exist because they are so shy that
magical trolls hidden in a cave
yeah,
somewhere.
and she'll call a guy and say, "Hey, if my guy goes there, can you get him out?" No, I can't. Okay, thanks. Or yes, I can. Okay, thanks. But that tells me. So it's a 1,200-mile load, but if I sit there for 3 days, what good does that do me? And that's information I do not have for my truck. And that's probably the number one thing at this point in my career that my OOC does for me is checking what's the freight, what's the capacity numbers in that market I'm going into.
Right.
And if I get stuck, where do I need to head? I am not above taking my toy and going to a different market. It doesn't happen very often because, by the time I have that conversation, the planners are like, hey, we have this guy that ran out of hours. Can you run this load? Yeah, I can absolutely run that load. This area sucks. Get me out of here.
Right.
Yeah. But, that's information. I can make better business decisions because I have this relationship with people that have data that I don't have access to. Whether it's Dana or what did you call them, Sue? We just call them the owner-operator planners. I know they have an actual title, but I don't know what it is.
It's owner-operator fleet consultants.
OFCs. So there's 3 of them, one for each region. I mostly deal with Jerry because I live in Salt Lake City area, so he's the Western Regional Planner, and I've been training him up since he started a few months ago.
Poor man.
So at this point, though, so here's my MO is building relationships that benefit my business and benefit my customer.
Right.
Jerry now knows not to offer me a load going to Oregon.
Won't even do it. He'd be like, "Well, here's one
He,
here. Oh, that's going up.
nope,
Never.
nope,
You
that's
won't take
going to
that."
Seattle. You won't take that. But hey, here's one going down to LA. How are you willing to do that, Jeff? I'm like, LA from Salt Lake? Yeah. There's plenty of freight down there.
Why don't you like Oregon?
Road
Oregon
Why
will
don't you like
cost
Oregon?
you 23.7 cents per mile that you drive in Oregon. When I lived in Oregon, which I just escaped from Oregon last fall, I lived there for 48 years. Okay. I grew up there. I love Oregon. It's my home state.
72.
But it would cost me $400 a month to go home in road tax.
Just to
And
go home.
that's not part of IFTA, by the way. You don't pay that tax at the pump. You just get billed for that tax.
Comes out a week 3 settlement, yo. All at once. You're just like, oh crap.
Charlie forgot about it until he went to go visit his mom last couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, April. That was brutal.
So I'm used to
How much is that?
Extra
I'm used to paying now about $25 a month on that third settlement because of the way I feel I don't end up paying all of my IFTA.
I pay like $5.
So, but touch Oregon, there's $100 right there just to go into the state because there's nothing within 100 miles of the border of Oregon. So you're in and out. It's about $100.
Quick answer. So
I don't like.
Go ahead.
I was just saying that I don't like the West Coast at all. I mean, I don't like California, Oregon, none of it.
Well,
I mean, in summertime, summertime, it's okay. You know, it's no problem. It's beautiful, no problem driving. It's the wintertime, especially through Wyoming, when
windy,
20 degrees and the sheet of ice on I-80, snow and chain required, and they shut the road down. So that I don't like it in the wintertime.
To be fair, I have not had to pull my chains out in 2 years, and I live in Utah. So
don't limit yourself on freight. But again, if you're in the right situation, when the markets are working for you and things like that, I can't legally go into California because my truck's too old. Would I go into California? Absolutely, because every time I get out to Phoenix, I have trouble getting loads out of Phoenix that aren't being handed to me and spoon fed to me coming out of California.
Yep.
So I would absolutely run California. I would prefer not to do Oregon.
And they do pay you to be over there.
Right.
I mean the fuel you get that extra fuel surcharge just for picking up load in California.
A couple of weeks ago it was 12 cents. So I mean, hell, that's an extra 12 cents a mile.
Yeah, I actually did good on that one because I ended up with one of those Ross loads going from Shafter all the way to Alabama.
Nice.
With that extra 12 cents.
You came all the way over here and you didn't come in and say hi.
He doesn't come to Florida.
Oh, I understand why, but
but he never makes it. It's not that he avoids it. He literally never seems to quite make that dip. I don't know why.
I've been in 15 years. I've been in the state of Florida with my Class 8 truck 3 times.
All right, crazy. Charlie, you got to let me know next time he's over here. I'll make that happen.
There you go.
The last one, by the way, was the last exit before the Keys Bridge, and I was so nervous that I was going to miss that exit because on the directions on the Qualcomm back then, it actually says, "Do not miss this exit. You'll end up on the Keys Bridge."
Yep. That's what, like 1,000 miles long into the Caribbean. So there you go.
It's like the first time you guys that go into New Jersey, the first time you take that load to that big distribution center on the 1 and 9, that's right before the tunnel, and the big red "We will shoot you" sign is there for trucks. Right. Do not enter the tunnel since 9/11.
Jason Kennedy, sorry man, I was just messing with you in chat. There is no update on the load board right now. Just so it's out there, and we got to touch on it because we can't go through a video without asking about it, and that's cool. I get it. We all want it. They were trying to do some further internal testing. They were supposed to do some more internal testing today. Was my last thing that I heard. They were having problems with some more code lines in it, and something broke. I don't know what the hell it was, but
it wasn't us because they haven't let us on it yet.
And as soon as they let Jeff and I in, we've been told that we're going to get first shot at it, not because we're special, just because we've been testing so long, that we'll be the first contractors in that. And it's actually an internal test to pull
Yeah, Brett's exact
Loads
words
all
to
the way
us
over.
were, "We want to see if you guys break it."
Right. And we're good at it. So
Because
don't.
one of the problems is that they're having a hard time getting it to scale for more than like 5 guys at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to see if Charlie and I could go in and crash it. And if
Right.
we can't crash it, they're gonna do the test with the 100 guys. And if that doesn't crash it, then I think we're in business.
Right. And then it'll open up. So just be patient. We're getting closer. I mean, and I say that simply because that's what Brett tells me. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. I have to believe him because I've done hitched my wagon to this man already, and we're there. So,
And
we'll
I'll
be
tell
happy.
you, he is the most frustrated person out of anybody,
Absolutely.
including all the owners, is that he's constantly in these meetings trying to push for it. And
Oh,
you
he
guys are
takes
right.
his
I
wagon
mean,
on it. Trust me.
We're completely we're completely expecting to see a bald Brett by the end of the year.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I think
wait.
just
We didn't talk about his beautiful hair, Charlie.
Right?
Yeah, just nice and
I
perfect.
know.
And like,
Speaking of
there we
Brett,
So you guys are
go.
trying to create a.
Oh, look!
So you
Doesn't he
guys
look
are
so
trying to put up a
handsome?
low board.
I'm sorry. What was that, Ronnie?
Are you guys trying to put up a low board where the owner operators can
Yes.
choose and pick their own loads?
Yes, there is
Yep.
a load
Yes.
board coming. It will be implemented at some point. Can't give you a date. It's something we've been working on. Swift has been working on. A
For
lot of
over a year
testers,
now.
well over a year. A lot of testers have been breaking stuff, and our current iteration that people are really excited to get on right now is junk, and it's not being serviced. So don't be upset if you're not being brought into the test group right now because I'm telling you, you don't want any part of the current board.
And for those of
There.
you guys that are in the tests, I'll just put this out there right now. That board that we've been using for the last year and a half is done.
Yeah, they're not even
That
supporting it.
they're not supporting it. They're not updating it. Nothing. The last I heard, it was actually because of the way it works. Because Swift has to make money, right? And you all know what's going on with rates right now.
Oh
The
God.
rates have dropped below the threshold that anything's going to be on that board because
So
of the way
there's
the
no loads on
algorithm
it.
works. So,
And that
so
came
there's
out.
just nothing.
We were talking to Brett earlier today about that very thing, and he's like, "Look, man, you know what? I'm sorry, it's broken right now, and they're trying to reset it. However, there are no loads on it because everything's below
And
threshold."
this gives me a chance to put my plug in once again. So those of you guys that aren't aware, load board does not mean percentage.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you right now, that's a good thing.
Right.
I'm glad it's not percentage right now because those spot market rates are dropping like a freaking rock right now. What you
And there's
do,
so
Charlie?
much more with percentage. Do I need to get bail money for you?
I know. Who is that? Is that you, Jeff?
No, I live in Utah, man. There's no crime here.
That was me. Ooh, we never have sirens here.
Oh no, that was actually me.
Oh well, that
Oh,
makes sense.
oh.
You're in a hotel, right? I forgot all about that. I was like, "Holy hell!"
Yeah,
I was about to run
I'm
out front
at
with
the hotel.
my gat, yo.
Yeah. So we Sue, you've been watching us for a while now, and this comes up way too much. This whole percentage thing, and you used to be what I would consider for Swift a medium-sized fleet owner, so you understand the business more than most people. This spot market thing is just insane right now. I almost pulled the trigger and got my own authority last year, and I'm right now really, really glad I did not do that.
So
Yeah, me too.
I've dealt with percentage, and most people fail to realize you're not getting paid for empty miles. If you're lucky, well, granted, Swift may have a different outcome on the fuel surcharge.
Right.
You know, you're looking at a percentage of what we're getting paid from the customer. If you want that, then if you're willing to drive 250 miles to get to that load and blow that fuel and not do the math on how many miles is going to be for the entire trip, guess what? You just may have taken that beautiful, what you thought was this percentage and not calculate your costs associated with it, and you end up losing money.
Right.
Yep.
And with the rates that are adjusting, it was the transportation market. I mean, we would throw in our end, we would throw, hey, this is how much we want to do to haul the load. And the customers will, okay, all right, that's kind of where, okay, fine. We'll pay it. We just need the freight moved. But now the lanes are changing. It's going back to the customer. The customer is dictating to us. They want make sure service is taken care of. If our service is not there, guess what? They're going to go find someone else. And that will pay what they also demand. We need to make sure that that's taken care of. So the I'm not going to throw a percentage out there, but I'd just definitely say just out of the owners that I measure and watch out of the Ocala market, there has been a steady decrease on the rates. And that's an issue. Swift is having to make the adjustment with and cope with that loss of revenue that we've been comfortable with. And now in this role, we're not taking away from the owners. All you see is the impact of the lanes and the adjustment. And you may hear from your OOCs, DLs, whatever you may have at this point in time saying, hey, let's make sure we're on time. Make sure we're on time. Because it has to be emphasized. We have to take care of our customers. Bottom line, whether it's a high market or a low market, but it's becoming that low market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we saw something kind of disturbing to us late last year, Sue, where there was articles written about this, and we don't know for sure how Swift is being affected by this, but a lot of the dedicated accounts like the Walmarts and the Targets, they're asking that for contract renegotiations quarterly now.
Yep.
Instead of annually or every 2 years like it's been in the past. And
So
some of these freight waves type places are like, wow, this is new.
And they're pushing. They want us to fight. Now I used to do Target when I was with Swift a long time ago. Now when we ran for Target, and that's where 07, 08, where the market was changing again.
Yeah.
So as they started becoming more selective, they brought in scales, and I think they even brought in JB Hunt. We had the whole market, but since we couldn't meet their demands, they have other people that are desperate. So
and now we have at that account in Lake City, we have 3. We have us, we have CR England, and we have a local company who does all the Orlando market now, K&B or KB Sons or something like that out of Lake City. And so I mean, look, and it keeps everybody on their toes. I mean, it keeps them fighting for that bottom line, and I get it from a business standpoint. It just makes it a little rough sometimes.
Right, absolutely.
So,
and can I address something for
absolutely,
Mr. Carr? Mr. Carr,
absolutely.
you can fill out that form, or your OOC, you send a direct message to your OOC and saying, I need my maintenance escrow adjusted to whatever dollar amount. It needs to be in some sort of written form, and then we'll get that process for you.
There you go. And yeah, I've been spoiled. I go to actually other people. I'm like, hey, can you make them do this? And they're like, yeah, we got you, stupid. Because I'm dumb. What do you want from me, guys? Look, I'm a little spoiled brat at times, and yes, I do. I've got my moments. I love it. What is spot rate? That's a fantastic question, and I love it. That is the rate on the open market for loads that are available to everyone and anyone out there to just snatch up and grab and fight over and fight to the bottom over.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best way I can describe that. I'm sorry.
So I'm definitely going to change my my nest egg from 5 cents to I'm definitely going to put it up to about 12 cents to make sure that everything's covered and all
just
that
for
good
fun,
stuff,
Ronnie, I'm going to throw it at you. I'm going to tell you, set it to 20, adjust from there. It's like Sue said earlier, man. And I know it sounds like a lot. It sounds like a lot, but I'm telling you, it is not a lot. At 2,500 miles a week, what's the number right there? It's I know at 5,000 miles a week, it's $1,000. So 2,500, it's $500 a week. What an easy way to set aside $500 a week, right?
Okay, this is going to be bad. So this is a really cheesy example. So when you give the fat kid, sorry guys, a candy bar, nice big candy bar, and you ask that
I'm just playing, Jeff.
Oh, that was rude. Man, when I see him, I'll take care of him for you. Don't worry. I got you over here. But to ask that child to hand you the candy bar back without even taking a bite,
right?
Is it going to happen? No, he's going to take a bite and he's going to run.
Oh,
so
yep.
So you got to look at that sense. You're getting used to this income. And this is where also with goal setting that makes it very hard for most people is that as your income increases, what happens?
Right.
Spend more
A
money.
lot more. Yeah, exactly. And we adjust to that
We
income.
all say we won't, but then we do.
You forget the price of milk.
Right.
For real.
So take it
So,
away
Hey
from
man,
yourself now.
this is actually a hard discussion my wife and I recently had. We paid the truck off last year, Charlie. Yeah, last year.
Yep.
So now I'm making $30,000 a year more. What did we do? Sold the house in Oregon, bought a house in Utah that was 3.5 times more expensive, and we've been going out to eat every time I'm home. And we had to sit down and say, wait, our mortgage is 3 times more. Can we really
What the
afford to
heck
be
are we
going out
doing?
to PF Chang's 3 times a week?
Ooh, he's
He
high
should
rolling
probably
even.
stop
Look at him.
doing that.
I need to get him to take me to
But
dinner.
yeah, that's just human nature. You're like, oh, I've got the money. But then what happens? Then you've got to spend $2,000 at DPF Alternatives to get your stuff cleaned. And you're like, oh, shoot, I had that money, right? Luckily for me, we saved money. So that didn't happen. But, it happens to all of us. You start seeing that money come in. My mom was an accountant, Sue. And so she always warned me about that. When I got my job at the phone company, I made it. I was white collar at the phone company, making, solid 6 figures and
Metro
getting
Central.
migraines every other day because it was so stressful. But I was making money and we were going out a lot. And then that job got sold to India, literally. So then what do? We had this all of a sudden we had we still wanted that champagne lifestyle, but we were down to our beer budget real quick.
Yep.
So you got to continually, if you've got a life partner, husband, wife, whatever, or you just have your kids, or it's just you got to sit down and have that
goldfish.
hard conversation. Where do I want to be in 5 years? That's always a good place to start.
Right.
For us, I can tell you right now, we just bought a house in Utah. We had solar put on, which is kind of cool.
Ooh.
We want our solar panels paid off in the next 5 years. And so we figured out what the extra payments per month we need to make that happen. And then we'll roll those payments over into the house, and we should have the house paid off early. We're not getting any younger. I'm turning 50 next year. So
Woo-hoo.
I always wanted to be able to, not that I would ever do this, but I want to be able to retire when I'm 60. That's always been my goal. So as life changes, we have to adjust our financial goals, and that's still 10 years away. So we're still good. We just have to adjust a few things and keep that goal in mind.
I want to run one
That's
load
awesome.
a week or one load a month. That's my retirement plan.
Well, I mean, we're trying to keep you busy with just this work, so hopefully we'll, take care of that goal for you.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, hey guys, Chris, what about the MRP escrow and the deductions? How do you adjust those amounts? It's the same process, isn't it, Sue?
Yep,
I think.
absolutely.
So reach out to your OOC driver leader person, buddy, pal, partner. Hopefully they're that way for you, and get them to do that. Get that form filled out or whatever it is that they got to do, and just make it happen.
So here's the cool thing, Charlie. You remember last couple months ago when I had that scare, like I was going to lose my truck,
right?
And the first thing I did was call Charlie because he's my best friend, and I cried because I just paid my truck off,
right?
And then we called our favorite recruiter,
Michelle
about Michelle Cantrell, and figured out there was a truck
Awesome.
available for me and what it would cost me. And here's the thing, between the mandatory minimums on the 2 escrow accounts that you have to have for that lease, that is what I've always put in my maintenance account.
And probably
the 2 together is 12 cents.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
It's 12 cents. So
even with that
very structured lease like that, that's still what they're asking is 12 cents. So if you're doing more than that, you're just doing better.
So like me being new, if I go ahead and take out the 20 cents, if I don't see it, then I don't know what's coming out. It don't
Right.
bother me, you
Right.
know.
You don't miss it.
And it'll
See,
still be there if you need it.
And if you don't, that
exactly. You
20
know, I mean,
cents.
it is there. It's not like it's money putting in there and it's not going for nothing. It's covering,
Right.
you know, maintenance, repairs. And, you know, if I do have to take off a few extra days, you know, it can cover my
Some
truck
guys use it
payment.
as their
You
tax
know,
account. I mean,
True.
again, I mean, there are better ways to, you know, you could find some sort of interest-bearing account, but look, at the very least, I mean, it's an interest-free savings account, and it's there and it's at your disposal. And I don't care where the hell you are, you've got access to it.
So in a perfect world,
Right.
too, just running the quick numbers. If you just do the mileage I typically do at 2,500 miles a week, and you really did just work the next 18 months and just never went home, you became a really boring guy, and all that. You're gonna put $39,000 into that maintenance account, and that
I've
puts
already
you
been
really
I've already been out on the road.
really close to your goal right there.
I've already been out on the road for a year. I haven't been home in almost a year.
All
He
right,
beats me,
so
Charlie.
first,
So I'm already that boring
We
guy.
we found the guy that beats me.
Right. Go ahead, Sue.
I was going to say, with that being said, Ronnie, do we need to make sure that we swing you back down so you can take a breath and be ready and recharged?
No, I mean, as soon as I get my truck, I'm ready to take off and hit the road. And, you know, I don't plan on taking no time off, for, you know, at least 6 months.
Whew. Bless your heart.
Right? Get it, man. Get it. Look, like
You
these.
know?
I love these like young guys, and I'm not guessing at your age or any of that. I don't care. But I've run into these young guys.
I'm 43.
Oh, there you go. I've run into these guys that are like 22. They're like, I don't have a girlfriend. I ain't got a dog. I don't have a car payment. I ain't got nothing. Don't care. I'm out. I'm gonna go run for a year. And these guys go see the country for the first time in their life. They see never left their state of Florida. And now in the next 3 months and over the course of the next year, they actually banked these ridiculous numbers that seem completely unachievable for most contractors coming out because they have zero expenses on the back end. It is all profit. I mean, it's just amazing. But those are the outliers. So, you know, that's why so many of our guys at the beginning of this, like, oh man, that's crazy. 300, 400 a week. Who the hell can live off of that? But as we saw, as we developed, as we talked to you further, we saw, okay, you've got a different scenario. You know, you and you're one of those guys that's out there running. I mean, long stretches, and you just take your breaks where you need to. And power to you, brother.
Do you have a really good friend that you talk to regularly, Ronnie?
His name's Rick Atkins, and he works for Swift. He's actually about to be an owner-operator as well. So you guys will probably conversating with him in the next few days.
There's a reason I ask that, because Charlie, what happens to me at about month 2?
He goes completely batshit.
And Charlie tells me what?
Go the hell home, man.
Yep.
And I'm one of those
mental
people.
Health on that.
I'm one of those people. I'm driven by business. This is actually my 4th business that I've owned in my life. I love business, period. If I wasn't driving truck, I would probably own like a hobby shop somewhere. I don't like being an employee. So when I'm out and I'm in the groove and I'm like, yeah, okay, I made this much profit this week. Let's see what we could do next week. What was my numbers this week last year? You know, I do that sort of stuff. And I need Charlie to bring me back to reality and say, dude, you got like this wife and stuff.
Right? Like 47 children or something like that.
I mean, my wife supports the business. She's 100%. We are partners in this thing, and she understands that I go out for long periods of time so I can pay for all the stuff we got.
When Jeff says that his wife is the CFO, he is legit. She is the CFO of his company.
Yep. She tells me how much money we need. I don't know.
Right.
So she has that role in my LLC, and I need Charlie as my dude. Knock it off. You made enough. Go home.
Right.
You're starting to get you. Did you put your tinfoil hat on yet? Or are you at that point? You know?
I gotta start telling him, look, you need to calm down, Betty. Get a Snickers and head to the house, yo. I'm just saying. And hey, you know what? I'm gonna throw a plug out here, and I sorry just to throw this off. So Trucker Todd is one of our members, and he's got his own YouTube channel, right? And he actually did a thing this week that I actually enjoyed. He was on a podcast, which I enjoyed, and I typically don't plug other people's channels, but I actually enjoyed this podcast. The name Swift was never mentioned, and that was on because of the podcast. They're afraid of getting tagged by Swift for anything, whatever, and that's fine. But it's a pretty good conversation about his experiences with the spot market and things like that, because we were talking about the spot markets earlier, and why he actually made the decision to come over here to the Swift system. And I'm telling you, there's some really good information there. Just do a search on YouTube for Trucker Todd and look for that video, my first podcast interview. It was actually very informative, and I think some of you guys would actually benefit from that. And no, Todd didn't ask me to do that. I purely on my own. I actually listened to the entire hour-long podcast 2 times in a row because I felt there was some good information in there. So I'm sorry to throw that out there. I thrown off the group. I apologize. I didn't want to forget that. Oh, wait, one more thing, because I got to do this house cleaning crap. Hey, if you find value from these videos, and seriously, if you guys truly feel like we're doing something that you like and you're benefiting from, like Don Carr just said, hey, you guys have helped me tremendously. Make sure you click those thumbs up. I know you guys think it's a bunch of crap, but it helps us reach more people. So hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, hit the little alarm bell so you know when we put out new videos. And we're going to have to produce, I'm actually going to have to, me, Jeff, I don't know who, we're producing a video tonight on the monthly reports for the IFTAs. Because the month end is coming and the way that we're going to process those is going to change. So we're going to produce a video. Jeff, go.
Hut.
Yes.
Those of us that own our trucks, this is my first year, and I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah. So, the Form 2290s are become due in June, need to be filed. IAL will start getting on you. There's actually kind of a couple months leeway, but don't wait till the end. Don't wait till the last minute. Get your 2290s filled out. If you're new to owning the truck outright and you've never done it before, by all means, reach out. I'll tell you how I do it. I pay a service. It costs me a couple bucks to do it. But all I do, I click like 3 buttons and they do it for me because they have all my information saved. So it's a beautiful thing, and I'm totally down to let them process it. They send me the confirmation from the IRS and everything. So that is out there. I know we're running long. We're getting to that 2-hour mark. So I wanted to handle the house cleaning real quick. But seriously, if there's something you guys need from us, let us know. Comment here in the group. If you're not in the Contractors Corner private Facebook group because you're not a contractor yet or you didn't know anything about it, do a search for on Facebook for Contractors Corner Consulting Group, or Contractors Corner will probably pop up on the top. Throw in a join request with your driver code. In the question that it asked you, the answer is your driver code. Without it, we will not let you in the group because we verify every single person that goes in that group, and we monitor those codes. We gain people, we lose people. Nobody tells us they quit, and we remove them from the group. You must be an active contractor to be in the group. So there's none of this crying. And look, let's be real. Rule number 1 is no thin skin in that group. You are going to deal with some hard facts at times and some stubborn heads, and we're not there to beat you up, but we're not going to tell you some crap that makes you feel good just because it makes you feel good when it's wrong. And that's just not what we do.
We don't let any office people in. That includes Sue.
Yep. Sue was.
It's
she was
all
like, can I get in the group? I'm like, no, Sue. Brett was like, how about me, guys? Told Brett no too.
Yep. And the reason is because
I'm not allowed in there.
Because as millennial as it sounds, we need our safe space.
We do. We need the space.
We need to be able to talk about business away from our customer and what's good for us and how we can serve them better. And sometimes, honestly, sometimes people need to vent, and we could calm that down a little bit better without, muckety mucks from the office chiming in and honestly kind of in some groups making things worse than some of those other groups.
I agree. I agree.
Sometimes we can help you approach Sue and be like, instead of going to Sue, Dennis Lewis, and yelling at somebody, Dennis Lewis, because you're mad, and we get that, Dennis Lewis. But I'm just saying that instead of having to backtrack, Dennis Lewis, later on down the road, I love you, brother. Look, had you come to us first with the group, we could have said, man, you need to tone it down a little bit and approach it this way. And look, Dennis Lewis, I love you, man.
Or in the case of Angel, we can just say.
I got another question.
Or in the case of Angel, we could just say, Angel, go.
Right.
So
go for it, Ronnie.
Okay. So if I have if I get my TWIC card, is there ways that I can run the containers as well besides the dry van?
So there is an iMod
like
contract. And so yeah, it's a possibility.
Okay.
It's based on availability, but truly, why would you want to do that? What's your ultimate goal with making that switch?
I wouldn't be making a switch. I'd like to do kind of like be able to do both if it's possible. Like sometimes there might not be a dry van load, but there might be a load that's a cargo load that needs to be ran. And I could, if I had my TWIC card, I could run that load. You know what I'm saying? Just I'm just throwing it out there, just seeing if it's possible for us to do that.
And so I've never been a planner. I go off of what I've seen, the conversations that I have with planners, scooting my little happy chair next to them and saying, show me, show me, show me. As everyone here is constantly learning, I'm doing the same thing on my end. So
right.
When these planners are looking for loads, they look within the division. They look in regions. So let's say the southeastern region. Okay, so one of the things about the southeastern region, you're limited just to those select states. Now, let's say that you're in the eastern region and where you're at. So let's say Florida. I'm just going to use as an example. So if you're in the eastern region, these planners, okay, there's nothing in the eastern region planning section. Then they're going to go, okay, let me go ahead and throw OTR freight. Let me start digging into that, see if that's an option. Let me go ahead and dig into SER. Let me start digging into that. Now, when you look into intermodal, that's dedicated. These planners are not to touch dedicated. Ida, if you're still on, you can comment.
Right.
But she would have a problem. She would reach out to that planner. Why are you touching my freight?
Words would be said.
I have a plan, and they're monitoring. They have a plan of action, and they cannot touch those dedicated unless that dedicated had reached out for assistance. That's a whole different aspect. Does that happen? Yes, absolutely. But the rarity of that occurrence,
very, very rare.
Right.
Very
And how intermodal,
and it was just a question.
Right.
It was just a question. I mean, and I'm pretty sure other owner operators probably had the same question, but never asked the question. And
never be afraid to ask the question.
To get a good answer.
Absolutely.
Right. So that was just my curiosity.
If you have the question and ask it, we usually find that there's 10, 15, 20 other guys that had that question, but for whatever reason did not ask it. And have been sitting on it for weeks, months, years. CW.
I will say,
sorry, go ahead.
I will say this about anything like a TWIC card or hazmat. I don't have either. I've never had hazmat because Swift just doesn't. The areas that I run just doesn't have hazmat anyway, so why bother? But when you look at a career and a business plan, since we do talk a little bit about beyond Swift in our group, if you have plans of expansion outside of Swift, any of those professional certifications you can have will help that business. You look, Sue doesn't know this about me, but I have a Landstar fetish.
Yes.
I've always had a Landstar fetish. That actually, that
I'm
was my
telling.
plan. Oh, Brett knows. Brett knows
Oh
about my
yeah, he
Landstar
does.
credits. But so the thing is, a carrier like Landstar that's 100% owner operator, they require all of their operators to have hazmat.
Right.
If I was to ever go there, I would have to have hazmat. So when you look at these other
Right.
opportunities later down the road, be cognizant of that. Are they someone that wants you to have these things? Have those things lined up ahead of time. Don't call them and say, "Hey, are you contracting new owners right now?" And knowing that they require
Right.
this thing and you don't have it,
Right.
because they'll
Right.
just look at you like, "What?
Right.
Did you not
It
do any
just
research at all?"
it just slows down the process.
You know?
And
So
and for everybody in this group, this is one thing I'm going to tell you, because of the very simple fact that I have been outside of Swift. I've contracted outside. So right now in the market, if you're contemplating expanding and going out, don't do it. One truck shows are not making it because of the rates. You're having to
Right.
fight 10 times harder. And then there's so much more to being on your own and having your own authority than, oh, okay, no, the loads aren't being handed to you. You got to chase down. You got to fight for the load. You got to fight for the money. But all right, so I went squirrel. Sorry. Where's your gun? All right. So, in true honesty, if you ever seek to get your own authority or expand, Swift has such a great hold in the clientele that we have. It's very hard to really be competitive in that aspect. But we're dry van. If you're
Right.
if you're in this for the money, you cannot be doing dry van. You need to specialize. You have to have hazmat. You have to haul some scary stuff. I've done it. And there's lot of, you know,
I
reaction,
want
things
helicopters
that you,
following me.
oh, that would be cool.
things that I
How about
wouldn't park
chasing you?
next to.
Right, exactly. You're going to
A lot
be
of hazardous
risking,
situations.
Right.
and then you're looking at oversized things like that. These are things that are the higher dollar and a lot more risk to it as well, because you have that much more liability.
Right.
And then the cost of that insurance, well, everything else with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So, hey, Ronnie, I'm gonna thank you for being here and actually subjecting yourself to our madness. I hope you see what it is we were trying to do and trying to achieve here. And I think we did achieve that. You guys let us know in the comments below when you watch this. If you're not live with us right now and you're watching us later and you actually stuck through this, let us know what you think. Like seriously, we need your guys' input. It helps us grow as a group, helps us grow individually, and man, I mean, growth is important to all of us. So Ronnie, I'm going to put you down off the line here. You'll still be able to hear the show. We won't be able to hear you. I apologize, but I wanted to thank you for being here. It truly does mean a great deal that you spent this much time with us, man, and we're willing to actually go through this process. But we're gonna have to wrap the show here in a second, so I got some house cleaning to do and all that stuff. So thanks, buddy. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. Just one more thing
Sure.
for Sue. If Sue could, if you could send me those things so I can do my direct deposit, and also if I can redo the percentage that comes out the 20 cents. I'd like to get those forms so I can redo those over again so I can put the right amount in there. So that'll be taken care of.
Absolutely not an issue. And thank you so very much for coming and joining this group. This was awesome. I had a great time, and thank you for dealing with like Charlie said, our craziness. I will follow up with you in the morning, and I will make sure that information is set with you. Okay, sent to you. Let's see.
Okay, no problem. Thank you guys very much. Thank you everybody for watching and listening and putting everybody saying, and I appreciate it. And you guys enjoy the rest of your night, and hopefully, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow sometime.
Thanks, buddy. Be careful.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, so wanted to throw up there. CW said, since it's winding down, thank you, Sue, for taking the time to talk with us. And seriously, Sue, like legit, you are way above and beyond the call of duty here because you were still in the office like a crazy trooper. And it's like dark, and we've been watching the lights go on and off behind you, and I'm like, it's a scary
People
place,
going home.
right? There's like nobody there, and seriously, for wrangling Ronnie into this, not wrangling, but I mean, you know what I mean. Seriously, that is amazing to me. You guys have put up with us for 2 hours and 10 minutes, and we still have full viewership going on from our normal stuff. So seriously, good on you guys. Thank you for all your contributing, your contributions. Sue, we're gonna just explode you here in the very near future in the best way possible because you are, and I don't want to say it like weird thing, but you are an amazing source of information for us. You are a huge benefit to us and our group, even though we don't allow you in the damn group. I know it's crazy, but
I see how it is.
Yeah, sometimes answer to a question is, I don't know, let me ask Sue.
Right, for real, like legit, we do that. We're like, hey, Jeff, what do you think about this? Oh man, we should ask Sue about that. And I'm like, right, dude, seriously, let's reach out now. And then Sue gets a text and she's like, oh my god, you guys are stupid. But
No,
here's the answer. But yeah, seriously, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Jeff, you got anything you want to throw up?
Nope.
But hey, my love, she's been sitting there so patiently.
Oh.
She's been look at her. She's like, oh hell, you threw me on. She's putting food in her face. Babe, you got anything?
No, I'm chewing gum.
Sure you are. All right, she's got nothing. That's what she's telling us. Sue, you want to throw anything out there in the wild? Anything you want to plug? Say, hey, whatever.
Absolutely. One, first and foremost, the three of you, thank you for what you guys do and contribute to out there because, this was one thing that did come to mind when I did work for Swift, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. You guys achieved the impossible. And what you guys are fighting for every day is further education. And with everyone that's a part of this group, thank you for joining in, working with each other. Remember, always pass it forward. It's very important. I do not work for Swift because I need a job. I work for Swift because I'm passionate about sharing what I know, helping others develop and grow. In each of us, we need to find that passion. What is that reason? If it's only money, that's not a way of life. Money is easy. It really is. We're the ones that make it complicated. So you need to have a goal. So strive for those goals that are going to make you happy and take care of your family and your needs as well. But thank you, everyone. I really enjoyed it. Had a blast. I may not kill you when you come back into the office, Charlie.
We'll see. I'm sure I can figure something to piss you off about eventually. So.
Oh, nah.
But seriously, thank you once again, Sue. I appreciate you. Jeff, you're awesome. Rosie, my love. God, I love the hell out of you. And she doesn't kill me. I don't even understand how. So, and you guys out there watching, thank you so much. We will be back Tuesday next week. I don't know what the date is. Oh, it's the 5th. It's report deadline day for the IFTA. So we will get that video made tonight somehow, some way. I will muscle through it. I actually have a headache coming on right now, one of my crazy migraines, but I'll go deal with that. And then I'm going to come back and make a video. I'll try and get it out tonight. No promises, but tomorrow I could probably get it out tomorrow morning. My MRI isn't until tomorrow afternoon. So there you go. But we'll see. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. I'm Charlie. That's Jeff. Damn it. That's Rosie. Sue's over there. This Contractor's Corner. We love you guys. We'll see you soon. Y'all take care of yourself because it's just us looking.